I do wonder at this point what it's like for you to have grown up so famous and to also be part of this famous family. Because in the past few years, you know, your mom remarried and that caused some rifts in your family. Your dad has a new relationship with Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah.
And all this stuff gets picked apart sort of endlessly in the media, on social media. And it must be complicated to have all that stuff play out publicly.
Yeah, the thing I like about the new way that the world works is that everything is so fast it's forgotten really quickly. Like if you remember like in the 90s, like when something happened in a tabloid, remember how it would just happen for like a year? And now it's just gone. And so that's the one thing that I like about it is that how fast social media moves now. It just eats everything, you know? So something may seem really important for a couple hours, but then there's a meme that goes viral. You know, it's difficult for us because anything that's happening in the public, you know, it's just, it can be embarrassing, you know, for the person that's experiencing it, you know, not so much for me. I try to just be more compassionate to my parents. Because I hate that for them, and I mostly hate it for my siblings that have chosen to not be in this industry because they didn't choose that kind of highlight on themselves. But for me, I've gotten so used to it that I'm like, if this is the, you know, the symptom of this is that sometimes we deal with these, you know, embarrassing or difficult, you know, like public opinions, then that's something I'm willing to take to have the life that we have. But it doesn't make it any easier, you know, mostly what makes me, you know, sad about it is for them, you know, because like I said, I feel pretty strong and I've taken so much on the chin. I feel like I've stayed strong without ever getting too calloused or too, you know, I'm pretty open for and vulnerable for how much I've been through.
Are you still estranged from your dad? Are you?
No, we've all, you know, I think timing is everything. You know, there's been enough bridges now of time to get us all reconnected. And I think for me, as I've gotten older, respecting my parents as individuals instead of as parents, you know, my mom, you know, it's honest, my mom's really loved my dad for her whole life. And I think being married to someone in the music industry and not being a part of it is obviously really hard. You know, I took on some of my mom's hurt as my own because it hurt her kind of more than it hurt me as an adult. And so I owned a lot of her pain as mine. But now that my mom is like so in love with my stepdad, Dom, who I'm also just, I completely adore. And now that my dad, I see him finding happiness outside of that too. I can love them both as individuals instead of as a kind of, you know, a parental pairing. I'm being an adult about it, you know. At first it's hard because the little kid in you reacts before the adult in you can go, yes, that's your dad, but that's just another person that deserves to, you know, be in his bliss and to be happy. So my adult self has caught up. My child self has caught up.